Jen Cercone is a wonderful person who has RN, MA, CMP, a gifted healer and educator, bringing creative new ways to shift and heal individuals and communities through intentional sound and artistic intention. I don't know if you're up on this, but the recent research about music and the brain and healing is astounding. You could go to YouTube and check out Dementia and Music, and you will be gripped by a beautiful presentation. And I'm sure that you're going to enjoy our speaker today, Jan Cercone. Thank you, Jan.
Thank you. This is like coming home today because I spoke to this same group about 10 years ago. Amazing. I lived here in Santa Rosa for 23 years. Has anybody heard of the popular orthodontist Dr. Cercone? He was my wonderful husband for 23 years. And we have paths that we work and we don't know as we're going through life, the experiences that we have, where we will end up. When I was a child, I always wanted to sing. And I became a registered nurse. I became a public health nurse. And it wasn't until I was in my 40s when I had these 3 children and I said to the Creator, what is it I'm to do? And the 2 worlds merged. Healing music. And now we have the science and the spirit, that today I'll be bringing you not just information how music heals. You all love music, right? And we know how music heals. And I'm not going to bring lots of statistics because I sang over at the junior college with a wonderful Dr. Hicks for many years, and he said, Jan, people need to experience the music and the sound themselves. It's like talking about a good meal, but unless you eat it, who cares, right? So I'm actually going to start with a little bit of sound, and I need 3 volunteers. And Dan, right? Okay, you 3 gentlemen, and Chance and David? Yes, you 3 fellows. These are anthroposophical gongs that I've used for 10 years in hospitals at the bedside. I work with Sutter Hospice for 6 years, seeing a client every week as part of my transition. I work with Alzheimer's patients at the junior college using sound, learning how magical and how therapeutic it is. You guys ready? Okay, so face the audience. We're going to do one practice gong. So hit it right in the middle. It on the other side, that we call it the nipple, right here. And give it a nice gentle, as if you're an angel, helping a hospice patient release their fear of dying. What I'd like to do actually is have one go in the back, and one to the left, and one to the right. Okay, so we're going to surround you with this sound so you can have the experience of being bathed in intentional vibration. I think you're just right there. Perfect. Okay. So let's all take a deep breath through our nose and out through our mouth. We have so much tension in our lives. My master's degree is in healthcare delivery systems. I'm also an ordained minister. And I've learned some very profound healing techniques to help people de-stress. And I know that helping the elderly is one of the most courageous. It draws on so much, and that every society will be judged on how they treat their children and the elderly. So the programs that you are working with are helping so much. So let's all take a deep breath and experience this sound and dropping in. Okay, gentlemen, we need the stars. with sound is that in my mid-40s, when I sat at the bedside with hospice patients, playing this lyre and singing, go ahead, you can play lightly. Something unzipped in me that my heart just opened. In all the years of nursing, I had never felt and watched clients just, And I said, what is this? What is happening that they're so peaceful that they could just feel safe to leave their bodies? The vibration of music is unchanged from heaven to earth. And there's a reason that they say, coming to carry me home, the golden chariot. Music is a vehicle that allows a person to go into that milieu with no words or no memories and to release the fear of dying. So I had this happen over and over and over again. And I said, I have to figure out what this is. So I began studying at the Sound and Consciousness Institute. Pretty soon I was bumped up to be a teacher there as a singer and learning my healing craft. And all of this, of course, didn't work with being the president of the Dental Wives. So my husband and I had a beautiful, amicable shift. And he's now married to the woman of his dreams. And you know what he tells the kids? Your mom was smart. Your mom is a smart woman. Sometimes in our lives we know that there is something that we need to do, and it takes courage. And again, I was a singer and a nurse, and when they melded together and I started studying the sound, and I worked with the smartest scientists and people in the world. And I'm not going to bore you with all the results. I want you to feel and understand the magic of music to mediate fear. So then I took it a step further. I worked many years with the dying Alzheimer's clients, and I said, wait a minute. If vibration can help remove fear of dying, can it help regular humans remove the fear of what? Living! Living! And what are we all afraid to do? Speak our truth. We have been programmed and patterned, especially women have this little manhole cover here. So, you're laughing. So that's actually my specialty, and you guys are fabulous, but I don't want to wear you out. Let's give them a hand. So go ahead and have a seat, and we'll begin the show here.
Jeremy, picture. Your mic went out.
Testing, testing. I probably need to press a little button here.
Is that better? Can you test it? Can you test it?
Testing, testing.
Yeah.
It's not quite, is it? But you can hear me,
Yeah.
right?
Do you want to use it?
I prefer not to hold that. It's a little bit distracting. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Beautiful. I'll tell you, I'll just begin with this, that it is the human voice and the harmonics bathing people with it. You are receiving all of my message now. When I am doing it through this, it actually cuts out certain harmonics, and it's completely different. So this is a commercial why we want live, intentionally healing musicians at the bedside. It's so much superior to putting on a CD, or a loving voice, or a person humming or singing. And everything I say today does not just apply to people in institutions dying, but also as well to you, because you are a vibrational being. I took music and I broke it down into tones. And sound. What is sound? I studied 20 years with the Waldorf school people, anthroposophical, man is a sacred being. How does sound and tone affect the body? 20 years. Continue. And what I found is we are vibrational beings. You all know the quantum field. Who knows that we are vibrational beings? Everything vibrates. The food that you bring in, most importantly, the thoughts that you have can hijack your positive mood with a negative vibrational thought. We know this now. So we are sound. Oops. Do I need to turn this on?
I'll just hit the, turn it around.
Do you want
Turn it
to
upside
just
down.
pop up here
It's
real
upside
quick?
down.
It's upside down. Turn it around.
Oh, upside down. There we are. Okay. As you can see, I'm a very right-brained person. Okay, so sound is the wave home. If we are electromagnetic beings, then I'm going to show you how I've learned over the years as a nurse to correlate every vibration in your body to your health systems, to your organs, and your emotions. If we can diagnose you as sound, we can repattern you as sound. Edgar Cayce said, vibration is the medicine of the future. I did a talk over at St. Joseph's. I did many talks over there. And I would say the new medicine is it Bach or Mozart? So everything is connected by vibration. Music is the only thing that moves from heaven to earth unchanged. Think about that music. Don't you think that was divinely inspired? Bum, 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 bum. Those fifths actually relax certain neurological patterns in the body. The third and the fifth the little notes in between this, when you make those sounds, they actually give a person hope rather than the type that are, I'm not that great of a musician, but the melancholic sort of sounds. So I do believe that music is a golden chariot between worlds, and who knows, maybe it's mediated by angels. That's the woo-woo part chance. I told him I wouldn't do too much woo-woo. It would be mixed. Okay. Sound creates form. My friend is a scientist, Judy Cole, and she has machines that sound generates form. Okay, those of you that study the Bible, first there was sound, vibration, the word. The word creates. And I'll get into just a moment how when you are trying to get clients, when you are speaking to a client or your loved one, you think you're saying one thing, but they are only getting through the 80% of their being the unconscious, true message of how you're feeling and what you're really wanting and really intending. So as an empath, as a child, I was very confused. I'd say, my father's thinking one thing and he's saying another thing. How can humans trust each other if they show up and they're always fear-based, manipulating, and controlling? You are fortunate that you are in serving, loving environments where you can show up. I feel so safe when I can show up where I don't have to be in this state of manipulation. Think about that. When you're with your family, you can feel safe. It's the undefended state that heals and allows us to be ourselves and open up and say what we think. Sound patterns everything. Look at this. Sound notes. Those are specific notes, and there just happens to be a turtle next to it. Who knows? Maybe those notes mean the turtle. During creation, who knows? This is hemoglobin before and after introduction of sound. It lights up. Sound, these beautiful musical notes, the spectrum of sound, light, and color feed us as humans or deteriorate our physical, mental, emotional field. Only you can be responsible for your vibrational field. The music in your car, the ambient noise in your office, all of these things contribute to your well-being. And, okay, I'll be flexible. And specifically, a person who is ill, or when you are tired, your ears and your nervous system are what? Hot, on fire, sensitive. So it's time for us all to really take some time and think, what is my diet of sound? We are human energy fields. This is, I know it's new age, but it's true. Everything we do affects this beautiful energy field we have, and it's either aligned or unbalanced. We feel good or we feel unaligned. We feel crummy. So this actually shows music being created. So music prevents and decreases stress. Patients who listened to music during operations had 20% less anxiety. Now, think about this. They were asleep. Because that ambient sound, again, goes into the body vibrationally. We think our mind is everything. No. The other night I did an event at Unity for Easter, and I sang Ave Maria, and there was a large group of people who were deaf. So they brought them up, and I took my lyre and I placed it on their back. So they could feel the vibration of music and have that connection and aliveness with this, what I call the vibrational field. And I do believe our planet and people are wanting to move towards a more benevolent, loving, peaceful paradigm. And one of the keys is understanding the milieu of our thoughts and the sound environment that we are constantly bathed in. So as I was saying that, you probably had a chance to read that. Just a little bit more science. I just thought, well, I've got to have that. Now, here's something for you to, I created a music program at Palm Drive Hospital, Music Care, with some other alternative healers there as part of my, I'm a certified music practitioner. It's an international program teaching us to provide appropriate healing music in any setting at the bedside. And I found something very interesting, that the elderly have reduced hearing, but usually it's only in certain high notes. And so putting on earphones, we have to be very, very careful that it's not too loud for them. And so listen to it yourself and assess their hearing. In other words, I could talk all day about any one of these subtopics. So I'm just giving you like a little smorgasbord to begin to consider, how am I handling the sound diet for this person who can't make their own choices? Live music is the best. Interactive is better. I have so many wonderful memories of singing with the Alzheimer's clients because I sang cabaret in San Francisco at the Mason Street Wine Bar, and I sang in Las Vegas as well. And I danced. I can still kick over my head. But what I brought from that was, it had to be you. And so I could sing all of these songs with the elderly. And they would go from that stage. You all saw the movie with Robert De Niro. The stage like this, and it was like you were just cranking a little, one of those little music boxes, and they'd pop up. One fellow even stood up, wade in the water, and he was waving his arms, and the nurses just have a ball. They just say, how did you do that? And I said, well, it's that long-term memory in their limbic system. And he remembered getting up and dancing and waving his arms, and he's Alzheimer's. He doesn't know he's old. He doesn't know he can't do it. So music really is the key to movement, joy. Now I wanted to just say a little bit more about our ability to monitor the body as an electromagnetic picture. I can tell. When I get $15,000, I want to buy one of these machines. But in various stages of, how you go through a couple of days where something's eating at you, a partner or a mother-in-law, or how's this lump going to turn out, whatever. Well, then you'd have over the blue. When I was worried, I would go to I was in Mount Shasta, and one day I was worried, and I said, what would my picture look like now with worry? Because I taught to students how to manage their energy field. So first I had to understand my energy field powerfully. So the red was when I was just a bit entombed in my own little stew of emotions and bad attitudes for me. Then the one in the lower left, I was meditating and I said, may the light of spirit, and there's many, many names for the creator, angels, everybody has their face. I said, please help me. And I felt like it was stuck in my head. And there you see the light coming in. I was astounded. Now the one on the upper left was the day where, I just felt like a catharsis. completely clear and open, and my entire energy field was glowing gold. And you can see that the chakras were balanced. So I think the New Age people, science has caught up, and so now we can cut some of the nonsense out, and we can really see what can help us and what is valuable to move us forward in a sensible way with music and sound healing. It's not too far out, Chance. Am I doing okay? Now this is what makes me happy. That rings my bell. Each of you has, those are fancy chocolates, of course. Each of you has a very easy way to raise your vibrations, and these raise my vibration. Last year on my birthday, I had them delivered, and with ice and everything, and every day I waited for them, and when they came, I ate one a day. And anything that we can do to honor and love ourselves and find joy, and that bubbles over, and it gives what? Other people permission to have joy in their lives. So there it is. Now, you can even see around the head that if this room were a little bit darker, there's almost like a halo. When we come into our full happy vibration, you've seen pictures of saints? We're actually at the full vibrational level of 732 hertz. Interesting. Between 732 hertz and 1,000 hertz, no fear can stick in your body. There's no Velcro for it. However, the first negative or fearful thought, pretty soon the colors start changing. But as humans, wouldn't we want to stay? I mean, I was so happy. And I was still grounded. I was still functioning. And I wasn't being thrown around by my fearful thoughts. So how can we bring vibrational healing in? Tuning forks are powerful on different parts of the body. In a little bit, I'll show you a chart. There's a chiropractor, Dr. June Weeder, and she uses them up and down the spine. And she feels that it helps subluxations relax. Chimes are wake up, calming. You can lay a person on a sound table. They even have the Vibrasound, Dr. Don Estes, which I was just involved with setting that program up over in at the Open Secret Bookstore up in San Rafael. Lasers, you're familiar with, if you have a gallstone, they can go right in. That's sound. That's applied sound healing to break up that gallstone. That is a vibration. Bowls, drums, many of our indigenous people use them in circles for community connection, for healing. Harps, I have 2 harps. This harp I played earlier is from Germany. I use that mainly with hospice patients, Alzheimer's, and again, if I'm doing healing in a group, instructionally, I'll have a person lie down on their tummy, and I will put it on their back. And your spine absorbs like nutrients. Remember, you are sound, like nutrients, and you just get all that you need. It's so fabulous. And vocal. The vocal, to me, is the most important, and specifically when I work with female communities, women who want to be leaders often come to me, and I've designed a very interesting scientific spiritual way to work with the larynx. The larynx is a creative organ. It gives birth. That almost looks like a OBGYN picture, but it is the larynx. Same thing. They both give birth. This is a voice print. Every little dot on there is a color of the harmonics of my voice. You can analyze everything about a person, their emotions, their sense of their self, their disease, sense of abilities, everything. So this new program I'm working with is called the Portical, and it shows us in an interactive bioresonant way. We can say an affirmation, and it makes patterns, and it gives me a reading. Does this person believe what they're saying in their physical, in their emotional, and their mental realm? If it's only 20%, then I say this person is saying something they don't believe. Then we have another reading of dominant frequency. If you are speaking and you are fully aligned and you are not being manipulative, you will then reach a score of over 100, which means people will trust and people will believe you. If you are a business owner, believe me, they are feeling if you are in the 50, 60, 70, 80% range. So how do you deal with people saying be positive, say an affirmation? Well, that's where the healing process is so important. We can monitor our consciousness through our voice, and I have found this to be the most efficient way for healing. As you are listening to me, each of you are involuntarily in training with the same amount of tension that I may have in my nasopharynx, in my throat, my larynx. I am the dominating frequency in this room. In every environment, there is a dominant frequency. Often it is you. So it's important that you take a breath and really check in and center yourself and ask that you are bringing the highest message information and not be multitasking and thinking a million things. This famous scientist, Dr. Mohsen Harmonish from Iran, has actually found the exact vibration of different facets of human fear. So, if you have that in your voice, that is bathing other people, and again, they won't trust you, they won't sign up with you, and they prefer not to work with you. Now, the good news is this is the spine picture. So this again, Dr. Emoto did the beautiful intention, energy, and the beautiful snowflakes would come with the more positive things. So we can shift things if we know what it is. We kind of come out of the game. This is a voice print. As I am speaking, I am displacing matter in the world and making a form. Each person's form is different. See how she's speaking into that, making a form? This speaks to the part that I always say, go back to your heart and your sense of truth and sacred when you are speaking. You can, and I encourage everybody to find that place in their day in the morning where they do just drop in, take a breath, and release the stress so that later they can touch back into that point of relaxation and truth. It's kind of too late if you have no place to return to and you're there, doing doctor's orders or whatever it is. But your body has a chance to set neurologically a relaxation point. So that's another important thing. Our body actually, this is my voice print, and you can see I've had years of the anthroposophical training where I can float notes, so when I sing it actually feels very floaty. The other voice print, maybe you know the choir director over at the Center for Spiritual Living, Claire Victor. I've worked with her many years, and I helped her get going in sound healing, actually, over at her church. And that was her voice print earlier, which looked more like a tree trunk. And that's how she sings, baby. Very strong. And I sing, ah. So you can actually see our voice prints. When dolphin makes a sound, there you go. There's their voice print. So this is the most important thing I wanted to tell you today. As we speak, each of us has a pattern. There are 26 patterns that humans typically can get unbalanced, which will turn into disease. We can look and see energetically what their voice is holding and actually prevent and turn them around. No C note, no B note, high E note, most likely malignancy in the future if they don't shift some things. So studying this from a nurse and vibrationally, it's been fascinating to see women get back on the saddle of their energy, their thyroid, their adrenals, simply using toning. Toning. There is a tricyclic relationship. For instance, if you are low in the note of C and your F sharp is too high, your sympathetic nervous system has been overdriving, fight or fight, and it is robbed. It's raw Peter, pay Paul. It is a teeter-totter. So if you give a woman back the vibration of the C note, and she tones it and sings it, it's like eating a vitamin that is good for her, and she can get out of that pattern. The voice bio is very important for people, all people out in the world, because this shows where you are emotionally and physically. It also shows where you are relationally. This tells me why women would choose the same type of partner over and over and over again, because that partner holds the vibrations that she is missing. I'll give you an example. When I first left my marriage, I had a very high F sharp because I said, oh my God, what am I going to do? Who am I? And I had a high F sharp. So this man came into my world, in his voice bio, no F sharp. He had exhausted his nervous system. So when we stood together, we bathed each other, he absorbed my F sharp and got energy, and I got relaxed. We attract in our intimate partners based on our voice. And our voice holds all the injuries, the socialization, our mother's voice. So all of this is unconscious. The fellow who designed this system, he rebalanced himself 5 times before he got the perfect partner. Couples who live together for a long time and one dies, the other one dies because the wife may have been holding the A sharp for the husbands to rebalance him. If you are going into environments where people are ill, they have done studies with this, that once you walk in, you intentionally rebalance your entire energy field to give that person your energy. Where does that leave you? Tired. So it's important to refill yourself with what gives you joy, what brings back your balance. The sounds of nature, 10 minutes in nature can rebalance and fill you. If you're on the computer, if you're working with the elderly or sick, go into nature, put some beautiful music on, and think good thoughts. And also, if things are difficult, you can find someone to work with you to do some healing. So I probably just have a couple of minutes left, but if anyone has a burning question related, yes?
What are some quick vocal things you can do to, to get in tune or to help you get to the right frequency or vibration?
Okay, well, people usually don't know what vibration they're missing. They usually always want to sing that high point vibration. It's very fascinating in that way. But just to have a diet of all the notes on the vowel sounds. You are breathing, you're moving, and remember those little energy centers? You're bathing your body. And of course, the Sanskrit mantras, Om Mane Padme Om. They hold such a field of eons of spirituality, and the way that they're concocted actually works in your brain circuitry. There's been a lot of. So yeah, that's easy. Just do the sounding, and if you're upset, have people sound. Have them sound. Have them sing a song. Have them move into that sadness, and that can be a beautiful cathartic experience. The people with the highest profiles are people who sing, a couple who work with a lot of tuning forks, and people who do laughter yoga. Amazing, amazing. So that's what yes?
What would you do with someone who is grieving and lost an intimate partner?
Grieving comes in waves. I actually have 2 scientifically designed chimes that I put people in between. Last night I did an event, and a woman had broken up with a long-term partner. So first I entrain and speak. You cannot heal someone that feels separate. I entrain and I feel and sense. I look them in the eye and I speak to them in a way that they know I feel it. I'm not taking it in and feeling the pain, but you just entrain with their pain. Then you move it very slowly into a little lighter topic, a little lighter music, but you must first go with them and stay with that pain, and then it subsides. Grief and pain come in waves. So just go in the wave with them and back out. It's like, yeah, like music moving in the tides. Well, thank you so much for your beautiful